uniforms and all that stuff cooking at one time.
Before the riot in the summer, it was really hot. All of a sudden, I don't know exactly what happened, but then there was the riot. Everybody was looting. I mean, they were going to stores, collecting furniture, equipment, just everything. And everybody thought it was a lot of fun until the National Guards came in. When the National Guards came in, everybody came to the conclusion that this was really serious and that you could lose your life because they wasn't kidding. You know, they were killing people and everything. But before that, it was just fun. I mean, it was the first time anything like that had ever happened, so it was just a lot of fun. After the riot, there wasn't anything except burned buildings, and it was really no place, basically, to go. I guess everybody came to the conclusion that what we had was gone. I guess that was just basically the feeling, that what was here was gone, and it wasn't anymore. And if you wanted anything, you had to go way out of the community and to get it.
The riots were here in '65, and I came in '67. So we had a lot of youth just walking up and down the street. And we had a CC program for children. And it kind of kept them out of mischief. Because at that time, we didn't have as much as we have now. Because the kids were, I don't think they were geared to robbing and stealing as much as they are now.
In the beginning of WLCAC, we had youngsters coming from all the different housing projects in our community. The Nickersons, the Haciendas, the Jordan Downs, and the Imperial Courts. Well, when we first started, when these youngsters all came together in one congregation for any effort, that was always fighting and bickering among themselves. Every single solitary day we had fights, we had confusion. They couldn't get along together because they came from different parts of this city. But we've worked with them. And from '66 to '81, you can come here now where you have thousands of youngsters working from all over the city of Los Angeles with the backgrounds of gang activity, and they're working side by side together without that kind of problem. And I think it's because of the expertise that we developed over the last 15 years from working with them.
Youth were chosen by what they felt they wanted to do in construction. Some wanted to be painters, some wanted to be brick masons, some wanted to be carpenters, some wanted to be plumbers, some wanted to be tile setters, some wanted to be carpenters, and they were placed with supervisors who were journeyman craftsmen in the various craft unions to teach them how to do the work.
WLCAC was having it for young youth, and so I enrolled into the program, and I've been here for 2.5 years. At first I started off, you know, just working around digging in ditches and stuff until I got into the trade, plastering. And so I like plastering because it's a nice trade, and you know, I have good goals about it. I would like to become a contractor after I've complete my apprenticeship.
These are some of the participants who are doing interior plastering. The man over here to your right is a union instructor. The other young man who's plastering with him is now in the apprenticeship program. He was formerly a participant. Now he works for Greater Watts Development Corporation as apprentice plasterer. The two young men here are participants who are just coming into initial phases of the plastering trade. Okay, there was no problem in recruiting them. In fact, in the first week of the program, we saw 3,000 youth for 100 slots. The way we went about recruiting the individuals was we announced it on the radio, we sent out flyers to the Employment Development Department, and we made contact with the various high schools throughout the city.
In 1966, we had about 1,800 youth under the CCC and NYC programs, the Neighborhood Youth Corps and Community Conservation Corps. Most of them was working with the older kids, but I was working with the younger kids, 7 years of age to 13. And those kids was mostly like babysitting. So we would march up and down the street, we would clean the alleys, and in other words, we were trying to keep the kids off the street to keep them cool. So this is what happened in 1966. And at that time, we had a lot of fights with the kids from one project to the other project. Nickerson Garden would fight Jordan Down, and Jordan Down would fight Imperial Court. So we started to march and to hold hands so they would, get to know each other better. So this is how we came into being.
When I get to the last line, maybe I'll do like that. Now, during the next 20 minutes, we will jointly review the history, explore the present, and take a brief look into the future of a very unique organization, the Watts Labor Community Action Committee. It has been said that Watts is not a true ghetto, that Watts is not as bad as the ghettos of the North and East. Those who are familiar with Watts know that nothing could be further from the truth. The only difference between Watts and the inner cities of the East and the... Are we ready? Okay. During the next 20 minutes, we will jointly review the history, explore the present, and take a brief look into the future of a very unique organization, the Watts Labor Community Action Committee. It has been said that Watts is not a true ghetto, that Watts is not as bad as the ghettos of the North and East. Those who are familiar with Watts know that nothing could be further from the truth. The only difference between Watts and the inner cities of the East is that Watts, poverty spreads horizontally instead of vertically. The streets of Watts are lined with dilapidated housing, and most of its people are plagued with the ever-presence of poverty. WLCAC has from the very beginning committed itself to the youth of Watts in the belief that by uplifting the outlook and skills of the young, the community will be continually enriched as the young people grow into responsible adulthood. With the assistance and support of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, we present to you the story of WLCAC and its quest to preserve, enhance, and enrich the youth of Watts.
All right, that sounds good. Let's do one more.
I hope. Ready? Okay. During the next 20 minutes, we will jointly review the history, explore the present, and take a brief look into the future of a very unique organization, the Watts Labor Community Action Committee. It has been said that Watts is not a true ghetto, that Watts is not as bad as the ghettos of the North and East. Those who are familiar with Watts know that nothing could be further from the truth. The only difference between Watts and the inner cities are the East. I messed up. Are you ready? Okay. During the next 20 minutes, we will jointly review the history, explore the present, and take a brief look into the future of a very unique organization, the Watts Labor Community Action Committee. It has been said that Watts is not a true ghetto, that Watts is not as bad as the ghettos of the North and East. Those who are familiar with Watts know that nothing could be further from the truth. The only difference between Watts and the inner cities of the East is that Watts' poverty spreads horizontally instead of vertically. The streets of Watts are lined with dilapidated housing, and most of its people are plagued with the ever-presence of poverty. WLCAC has from the very beginning committed itself to the youth of Watts in the belief that the uplifting of... The uplifting of what?
Can I get on TV?
Okay, wait a minute. Can I start from there? WLC, you guys can deal with whatever, can't you?
Start from WLC.
Okay, WLCAC has from the very beginning committed itself to the youth of Watts in the belief that by uplifting the outlook and skills of the young, the community will continually be enriched as the young people growing.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I think the first shot is it.
That's good enough. What we'll do is get you guys next time.
I can't see.
Inside the building.
I'm fine as long as I...